Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the marketing session. Welcome, everyone. It's great to have you here. Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome to this. It's great. It's already an amazing session. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling the session already. It is going to be an absolutely amazing, amazing session. So welcome everyone to this beautiful session. Good morning. Please remember to put your mics, to keep your mics muted. Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome to the session. So we're just going to wait till 8:32 and then we're going to take off running. All right. But welcome to the session. And we're going to be looking at marketing. Oh my God. I have one of our marketing gurus here. Guys, you need to talk to this guy. His name is Somi. I don't even believe Somi with your crazy. Oh, today's Saturday. Yeah. I'm going to pull Somi into this session. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to leave this session with me. Somi, better be ready. We're doing this session together, absolutely together. Right, guys, Somi has a marketing solution. It's beyond marketing, to be honest. It is everything that deals with your customer service experience, right? And I was going to talk about it by myself, but thank God he's here. So he's going to tell you about what this does. It is a tool that actually helps you pull together your customers, helps you with communication, helps you with retention strategies, helps you with just keeping in touch with them, tracking what it is that you're doing as well. I mean, it's an amazing solution. It's called My Center Office. So you need to know about My Center Office. If you have a business, if you have a service, you need to know about it. So it's great to have him here. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the session. I was waiting for one more minute, but I'm just going to start sharing. And like I mentioned in the open session, just be open to learning something new today. Be open to sharing, be open to collaborating. We honestly don't know it all. What it is that we know, we're going to ensure that we make it work. Okay, so if you are just coming in, kindly put your mic on mute such that we have a really quiet classroom. Thank you to my amazing co-hosts. I see that you're working already, helping to mute all the mics that are for people that are forgetting that they need to keep their mics muted. All right, so good morning, everyone. So we're going to be looking at the lollipop strategy this morning. Yes, it sounds really interesting, doesn't it? But that's what we're going to be looking at today. The lollipop marketing framework, and when you think about a lollipop, right there where you are, think about the lollipop, right? And how does that make you feel? Just thinking about the lollipop. I'm sure you can remember how it goes in your mouth, isn't it? And then suddenly maybe it's a triangle. And then from nowhere, it suddenly becomes a circle because guess what? The friction in your mouth when you're trying to lick it. And then remember holding that stick and then maybe using it as toothpick later. Right? That's what a lollipop is, isn't it? And that's the beauty about this lollipop strategy. A lot of you know me. My name is Okenfo Ajayi. I'm passionate about education and, to be honest, business in general. You can know a little bit more about me by just Googling or going on my LinkedIn page or Instagram. But I'm out there for you to see. So I remember what the session really was about is, if you were a child, how would you market lollipop, right? And so it is imagining that your customers, right, your parents are children. How would you market to them, imagining that they were your students, right? That's what I need you to begin to think about. So if you have ever tasted a lollipop, or if you have ever gone into the shops with a child and they've seen a lollipop and they refused to leave the shops because they wanted a lollipop, can I just see you drop me in the chat box so that I can know that I'm not alone? I used to struggle with my children. You're literally dragging them and dragging your shopping cart to get out of the store because they saw a lollipop. Can I see the chat box popping up? Okay. Aha. Exactly. I know. I know. That's it. They just don't want to go. They see a lollipop, they see candy, and they're like, this thing, we will not leave this shop till you buy it. But you know, as I was growing up, so I grew up in Nigeria, right? And there was one lollipop that always stood out for me. It was called Chupa Chups. How many of you know this Chupa Chups? Can I just see you guys use the emojis? If you know Chupa Chups, that's what it was called. Do you guys know Chupa Chups? If you know it, please tell me. I know it, I ate it, I tasted it, fantastic. Oluronke, I see that you know Chupa Chups. I can see your thumbs up. Exactly, aha, I can see that now. We know it. And you know, for the longest time, exactly, thanks, Tiffany. For the longest time, right, I would go into a store and say, I want to buy Chupa Chups, even though it was another lolly that was there. Till now in my head, when I go into a store, it comes in my head is, oh, I need to buy Chupa Chups. Even though that's not what I'm buying. I'm buying something totally different, but that's what I want to buy, right? A lolly with a stick became synonymous with Chupa Chups, right? And so we're going to use that as our case study today. And we're going to look at it in 3 areas: the wrapper, the candy itself, which is the sweets that you put inside your mouth, and then the stem, the lolly stem. And the really interesting thing about this is that you don't forget, you love the chewing gum. We all have several different experiences with the lolly, right? Several different experiences with the lolly. But one of the most important things is that it is unforgettable. And that's what you want your school to be. You want that when people think about school, when people are thinking of changing a school, you're right there. When you walk into a store, the candies are very strategically positioned. They're positioned around the tills. They're positioned, sometimes when you enter a shop, you have these aisles, and at the front of the aisles, you would notice sometimes it's chocolate, sometimes it's sweet, sometimes it's biscuits, but there is a candy, sweet, child dragging element in literally peppered all over the shop. That's how you need to be, right? Because it's important that you are that way. And so let's look at the wrapper. You need to be attractive. It's a 40-minute session, so I'm not going to go and do a deep dive. And I also want Somi to speak. You need to look at the wrapper. The wrapper is attractive. The very process of opening it, people will know that you are eating sweets. And there's no sweet wrapper that is silent. Go and check it today. No one is silent. You open it and people turn around. Why? It's supposed to make people turn around and say, oh, can I have one? Oh, can I? That's the point of it, right? So how interactive are you? How do people engage with you? Do you have engagement metrics littered around you as a school, around the places where you are visible as a school? That's very important. How about selection? What are the different offerings that you have in your school? Or is it just that, oh, you know what? You come into our school, we don't have after school, we don't have different classes, we don't have different teachers, we don't have, you know, what are the offerings that you have? The same way Chupa Chups has all these sort of offerings. What is it that you have? How do you connect with your clients based on their needs? That's something that is extremely, extremely important, right? Now think about expectations. When you are unwrapping that lolly, child, you could see the child, sometimes they're shaking, they know how to unwrap the lolly. But because of the excitement, they'll be like, help me, or they're using their teeth, trying to cut it off because they're so excited about it. That's how it needs to be. The expectation that you wire your parents, your prospective parents, to begin to feel about you needs to be sky high. That's before they unwrap the package and register in your school. Hey, they're like, that's cool. I enjoyed. If you were in the session yesterday on handling parent inquiry, you will know what I mean. You're not telling them about the fact that you have education. Everybody's going to teach ABC and 1, 2, 3. What are the extras? Jedidiah, can you please put your mic on mute?
Oh, sorry, please, sorry.
So you need to have that expectation there. And then how about the protection, exclusivity? Because that's what the wrapper does, right? And every candy does that. It's not like rice that you go into the shop, the rice is just there, dry grains, and you can just touch it. With candy, with sweet, with lollipop, you have to unwrap it. It protects the essence. So how do you protect data protection? Do you communicate that by your wrapper? By the things that you say, by what you post on Instagram? Do you communicate the fact that we take care of our students? We're an exclusive school. When you come in here, the things that we'll give to you, you cannot imagine it. Nobody else will treat you the way that we can. You are important to us. That's what people want to know. They want to know that you are that place where they are protected. Now that's the wrapper. Now let's go into the candy itself. They are all different colors. Even if at the end of the day, I'm wondering, was this chocolate or was it vanilla? They're all different colors when you open it. It's part of the expectation. You open one for strawberry and it looks a little pink with a little bit of vanilla in there. You open the one for chocolate and vanilla, or chocolate and strawberry, it has a different color. When people come into you, how is diversity in your school setting? Or did you say that you welcome diversity, but you don't? Is there a dissonance? You need to understand that. How about the experience? Do you truly, because you've told them that you select. You've mentioned to them how you keep things, very exclusive in your school. Then do they come and everybody knows the problems their children are having? What's the experience that they have with you? What's the experience that they have with customer service? Have you said, you know what, whatever it is that you need, we're right there at the forefront to support you, but then you don't? Is that what we do? So I'm going to use this opportunity and just mute everybody. So give me a few minutes, everybody. I'm just going to mute all. And then I will not allow participants to unmute themselves because we seem to have a lot of that going. But of course, as co-hosts, you can unmute your mics if you have to speak, right? So think about the experience that people are getting right there in your school. How about the shape? Right? They have a certain shape, lollies. Sometimes they're like this, sometimes they're square, sometimes they're heart-shaped. They're all different shapes and sizes. And that's how the people who come to your school are. Do you have a good mix of people in your school? Or are there a certain people that you allow into your school? Right? So that, again, is something that you need to look at. And then, of course, the action of licking, when they finally come into your school, what do they get? And that's part of the experience, right? That's the whole point of that candy, because we're going to lick it and we're going to enjoy it. And then, of course, you have the stick. Sorry, that's supposed to be stick, not strip. You have the memories. It's like a stick. You remember it. Some of the children keep it in their pockets. Some of us keep it in our bags. We use it later on. We find them all over the place where we're working eventually, or bathing the children. Why did you keep this stick now? That's what it is. And another thing that you need to think about when you think about the lolly is alignment. You're aligned with the essence that you have portrayed outside, right? There's no dissonance in your brand, because if there's a dissonance, then you already have a problem with conversion or with retention. Okay, so retention is critical at the point of conversion. Don't just be thinking, I want people to come in. Are they staying? That's the entire point of marketing. So marketing is not just attracting people. It is what you do before they get to you. It is when they get to you, the entire experience, when they have been with you. What is it that they keep getting? When they are thinking of leaving, what makes them stay? That is the retention part of it. So it's a three-part process, and you need to think about it. And then we go to the STEM, which is all these things that I just said about. What are the things that keep them with you? What are the things that move them from that space of, oh, we joined a school, to brand evangelism, where they are talking about your school. They are telling their entire neighbors about your school, knowing that you will not disgrace them when they come to you, when the people that they have referred to your school. So it's very important that you think about all of these things that I just shared in this slide. What is your wrapper? What is your essence? That's the exact candy. What is that lolly stem that they're holding on to, right? That is, you have attracted, you have stuck them with you, and then they're not going away. So you're retaining almost as many as you are bringing in, all right? In the past few years, I don't think the only people that we've really lost from my school are those who have always wanted to go to maybe like a Green Springs. They've always wanted that sort of experience. It's an old school, 50 years, 60 years, I wanted to go there. Those are the only people. And then those who japa, those are the only people. And some of them who even go to some of these schools that I just mentioned, they come back, they come right back. So that has made us really happy, because it means that our attraction, that pool that we had, is something that hasn't gone away, right? So that's very important. That's something that you definitely want to look at, all right? So these are marketing objectives. When you're thinking of putting together a marketing campaign, thinking of pulling people together, saying, oh, you know what, I'm starting a school, or hey, it's a new session, what am I going to do? You need to ask yourself, what are your objectives? Sometimes you're just increasing brand awareness. You just want people to know. When they mention the name of your school, Sheba School, I know that's one of the people that, Ocean Crest, when they mention your school, people know, I know where that school is. That's awareness. People need to be aware of you as a brand. And sometimes you run promotions simply for brand awareness. You're doing activations simply for brand awareness. You go to certain meetings where parents would be simply for brand awareness. You wear your t-shirt, of course, to show that, oh, you know what, this is where I'm from. That is just brand awareness. You're increasing brand awareness. Another thing that you want to look at is, are you entering new markets or are you trying to get new parents? This one, you're looking at your funnel, right? So that is your funnel that you're looking at, and you're saying, I need to pull more people into that funnel because I want to pull them in. So that's getting new parents. You're checking checking those metrics to say, am I working? Am I meeting the objectives that I've set? How many new people sent us a message today? So your call to actions must be top notch. Your product offering must be top notch. You must work at it. And if you don't know what to do it, hire somebody to do it for you. All right. Don't waste money running an objective and work. You're not meeting the objectives of your sales promotions. All right. And then of course increasing your customer base. So you already have a customer base, but you want to increase that customer base, which also aligns with getting new parents and new markets, right? So that is you increasing it. And also increasing it means that what you are keeping those that you already have, because if it's an inflow and an outflow, then you're not going to be increasing. So when you're thinking marketing, don't just think about people external, think about your internal community, your community that already exists, and say, how am I marketing myself to them? Don't be like an old wife and a new wife, or an old husband and a old husband. You get what I mean? Don't be like that. Think about your people. Most brands, when they're running a promotion, they don't run loyalty promotions, right? They don't run referral promotions. They run, come in and we will give you this, buy this and we'll give you this. How about those that have been there? How do you reward loyalty? Right? That is how you keep increasing, because you're maintaining your current customer base. Then, of course, increasing sales, right? That's another one that you're looking at. So maybe you have a new enrichment activity, for example, you market it. You have a lunch, you market it. Your school bus, you market it. Don't just assume people are going to come. No, we actively market lunch because we make money from lunch. Every term, I think on lunch, we make a profit of close to definitely over $500,000. That's like easily over $500,000. We make it on lunch. On school bus, not a lot, but we're getting wiser in that regard. But with all these increases that we saw over the last term, it was tough, but we at least broke even, right? So you need to have all of those metrics because you're a business, and you need to say to yourself, how do I get more people on those services and spending the least amount of money? Okay? Are we good? Am I alone in this place? Am I the only one here? Please tell me that we're here, we're listening, we're following. I'm a feeling gone, let me know. Okay. Thank you. Yes, YBS, Noli Prep. It's great to have you here. Yes, okay. So now I'm going to let us quickly talk about these 4 P's because I think they're important, right? And what are they? Your product, which is your school. Kiddies Candy, that's your school. That is one of your P's, right? It's a service, but guess what? It's also a product, because there are times where maybe you're selling uniforms, you're selling all these things that I'm talking about. That is important. Your place, where are you? Do people know where you are? Right? Why did you decide to situate in that place? Now, this situating is if you are expanding onto a new location or a new school that is just starting. But if you are started, then it's okay. I didn't say you should close your school down. All right, but that's something that you need to understand. Now, if you're already in a place where you feel your catchment area, your main demographics are not within your catchment area, then you must say to yourself, how am I visible? How do I make myself visible to them, right? Which is what talks about entering new markets, increasing brand awareness, using your school bus to sell your market, right? So that's what you want to be thinking about. And then of course, your price, are you setting it based on your perceived value? And what that means is that you need to have a value, right? Chupa Chups has a value. The children love it. They feel like they're on top of the world when they're just licking sweets, right? So what is your perceived value? Because that is what sets your price. Sometimes people don't pay you because of what you can do, or if you are really great. They pay you because we just want to get in. And so that's where exclusivity comes in as well, right? So you need to begin to say to yourself, how do I increase the perception of my value? All right, it's a perception. That's honestly what it is. How do you increase it? And of course, promotions, don't just promote for promoting sake. Those places where they kept the sweets. By the time you have carried your children all over the shop, they're tired, yes. And guess what? At that chill place where you are paying, plenty sweet all over the place, different colors, shapes, and sizes. It's purposeful. So where are your promotions going? Right? How visible are you in events, which is place? So place is your physical location, but place also ties to where you are, where you go. What are the networking events that you are part of? What are the tea parties that you are part of? Where do you bank? Where do you take your children to go and shop? It's everything, right? So place is where you go and meet the people that you need to see where they are. All right, that's really, really important. Now, this one are marketing strategies, okay? So, and I discussed this already in the I think it was the second slide, but these are marketing strategies that you want to think about. And I added execution there, right? Because it's so critical. You cannot have a marketing strategy and not think about executing it. Colin, wait, I don't know what you're doing. If you don't have a marketing strategy, you're not thinking of the execution. You need to execute it. So I just want us in the chat box very quickly, when you think about your wrapper, so attraction, visibility elements, branding, and your brand communicators, what sort of things would you do in your school to make people see that you have a wrapper? Okay, not wrapper that we tie, but you know, the wrapper, the wrapper of the suite. Let me take us back here. So these are your wrappers, right? So think about, this is your wrapper. So think about it and just drop it in the chat box. Then another set of people, think about your candy. What are the things that make people want to stay in your school, that make you enjoy the entire experience, right? What is that thing that you do? All right. And your candy is related as well to the stick, that's the stem, right? So what are those things that attract people to you, which is your wrapper? And what are those things that make people stay with you when they have come? I need you to think about that. Please just drop it in the chat box. Academic performance, fantastic. I love that. What else? Your candies, your culture, fantastic. So the school culture, the people culture, the staff culture, that's fantastic. I love that. Those are your candies. Nobody's talking about wrapper. Now, wow. Hey, customer service, candy. Yes, your customer service is absolutely critical. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Noli Prep. Thank you, Jemima. The way you handle parents' complaints, exactly. Because if your complaints are not, your complaints and parents' complaints are not being handled, they're just pushed to the corner, they're going to say, you know what, what's the point? I'm not important, and they're going to want to leave. Fantastic. Hey, now I'm beginning to see wrapper. Exactly. Ziba. Hey, people. Hey, person. Learning resources. But how do you communicate your learning resources in your marketing material? Right? Because guess what is the wrapper? They haven't gotten into your school yet. So how do you communicate? And that's something I want everybody to think about. Yes, your learning resources are critical, and it strides both. It actually strides all three: your wrapper, your candy, your stick. Now, this is going into execution. How do you communicate your value using learning resources as a case study? That's something that you need to think about, right? Your uniforms, your ambience of your school, those are wrappers, fabulous. Your aesthetics, exactly, discipline and morals. So discipline and morals, again, you can use it for both. You can say that moral is important in our school, and then when the parents come, they actually need to see that the moral element of the children have gone up. It's not like they're saying, F you the crazy, shaggy. They'll say, my God, where is the moral and the discipline in this school? So you need to be very mindful of brand dissonance. Do not overpromise because you're trying to attract people, or you run into problems with your execution. All right, okay, discipline and morals, wrapper, beautiful environment, fantastic. You people are too much. Oh my God. Should I be teaching this class, or should you people be teaching this class? It's like people should teach this class. Let me make everybody co-host. Your candies, extracurricular activity, morals, fantastic. So you all understand exactly what we mean. So these are marketing strategies, and you need to every single time think about it. Now, I like to do this a lot. I do it for myself personally. I do it for my team. I do it in my house. I do it literally everywhere. I'm constantly doing a SWOT. And a SWOT is another name for a gap analysis. You need to be able to do a gap analysis, all right? What are your strengths? Again, it's tying into this last one, right? Because when you're thinking about executing, you must think about your weak points. What are the fractures that you need to close? So what are your strengths? What is the value that you have? How do you leverage it in your marketing? In your lollipop framework, how does that become the wrapper, the candy, or the stick? You must also think about what the opportunities that you have to go into places. Do you understand what I mean? So this kind of event, for example, be here, especially if you're a coach, or if you're a learning resource provider, an educational provider like Michael, be here because your customers are here. Right? There's your bank, something, and events, they invited you, you did not go because you don't have time. Kilo day, the parents that bank in the bank, are they not parents? Don't they have children? Some of them have Pekin. So you being there looking nice and lovely and carrying something that shows your school, your marketing, that's opportunity for you. Leverage it. So let us go away from traditional opportunity within my school. How do you leverage opportunities that you're presented with? There's a book fair somewhere. Go. Let your children wear sharp uniform. You, Papa, sew one for yourself. Wear it and go. Okay. Maybe that's taking it too far, but think about that when you think about opportunity. And then what are the weaknesses? What needs to be elevated to align with the brand and close the gaps, right? So if you have teachers, for example, who have diction issues, and you pride yourself as being a school where children can speak Queen's English. So that teacher that has diction issues, you gotta work with that teacher, right? Especially if they're not a teacher you want to let go of, right? So those are weaknesses, not necessarily because they fracture your brand, but because they cause a dissonance for your brand. And then, of course, the threats. Why will people quit seeking you out? What demarkets you? What is those things that demarket you? Identify them because they're a threat to the visibility, to the viability, to the continual sustainability of your business. Remove them, like assassinate them. Literally. Now, these, I'm wrapping up soon, and then I'll hand over to Sami, even though he's wrapping already, but nice Sabi. So these are factors that I find very important. They're called steep. These are my factors. I find them very interesting for me. Your socials, where are you socially? When you think about social, call it just Instagram, TikTok, they there, WhatsApp, they there, Facebook, one pair, LinkedIn for you as a professional is there, Clubhouse is there, Twitter is there. You know, those are your social. So where are you? And your social is also how social are you as a school? How social is your team? Those are your socials. They're part of your steep factors. Technology, how are you leveraging technology? Not just in your classrooms, in your school as a whole. How are you leveraging it even for your marketing? Those are steep factors, and they're part of your lollipop strategy, right? Economies of scale. So economies, that's part of your financials. So how you spend money? How are you priced? Is your pricing because another school is priced like this and you want to undercut them? So you're only pricing based on competitor analysis, not based on you actually looking into your business and saying, what does my business need financially to survive, right? You need to think about that. Those are your financials. And then, of course, you need to look at your people. People, I don't know about you, only me. I've not yet found how I can be in different classes, plus admin, plus drive the bus, plus I need people in my life, and I have people. How are you developing your people? How are you hiring your people? We had a hiring session yesterday with Dr. Bimbo Agundere. How are you doing this? What is it that you're doing? How are you ensuring that your people aligns with your big picture? That is so important. I talked about that yesterday in the business growth and stability segment. That is so important. What are your policies as a school? Are your policies meant to kill the people, kill the school? And then everybody will be like, our policy says that you have to. That's not how you do it. It's part of retention, right? Your policies, they may not see at the place of attraction, but in retaining and staying in your school, your policies play a part. Then how about your environment? You don't have to go and rob a bank to have a massive school. With what you have, what are you doing with it? How is the classroom environment? How is the culture? Because that is part of your environment. And is your team wanting to run away at any little opportunity, or do they really see that you care? That is part of environment. And all of these things link and tie in together. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it is resource allocation, and you get the slide so you can look at it. This is an example. How do you spend your resources, right? And this is just looking at your social. So it'll be great for you to look at your resources across the different areas in your school and say to yourself, how are we allocating resources? Your people resources, how are you allocating them for your marketing goals? That's important, right? So do this, it will help you. Now, this is a lollipop funnel. I'm trying to pack 3 hours in 40 minutes, but I have good news for you. Just hold on. There's the good news at the end of this slide. Now, this is a lollipop funnel. The first place is an awareness, right? And I talked about that. And then people go into consideration. Can I buy this lollipop and let this child just stop crying? And then the person will say, buy it now, madam, just buy it for him, no cost. Your change, I will take and pay. Okay, you take the lollipop and leave me in peace. Take. And then you give them the lollipop. They've converted you, whether you like it or not. And then tomorrow you go, as you're passing, you buy the lollipop, you give them, so that they don't even disturb you. That's you, loyalty. You're not buying lollipop. And then you go into a place and parents are complaining and saying, my child, I don't like going with them. Say, just buy them lollipop. Simple. That is you in the space of advocacy. And that's what you want to do with your parents, right? You want to think about this funnel, and you do. You have not been able to download the slides. We will post them in the lobby, all right? And I'm sure you'll be able to download it. And when we go into question and answers, we will talk about that as well. I'll post it in this chat. And we just have about 10, 12 minutes left, all right? So that is important. Now, I said I had good news for you. So these are my services, but guess what? I have a business administration bootcamp coming in. It's a school administration bootcamp. You want to register, okay? Some of these and so much more is what we do in the school administration bootcamp. So you do want to register for that. And I mean, that is one way where you get a lot of this, and we have the time to crack into a lot of these nuggets that we've shown. Thank you all so much. God bless you. You might want to take a picture of this slide so that you can get in touch with me, or I mean, just follow me on Instagram, and that's the easiest way. Thank you all so much. So I'm going to give Sammy, are you still here?
Of course I'm here, KK.
Okay. All right, let me give Sammy a minute or two, give Sammy some time to just talk. And I put your questions in the chat box, guys. Sammy, please take it away.
Yeah, can you see me on the video? Hopefully you guys can see me. I can't hear you, KK. Are you on mute?
Yes, we can. We can see you. Sorry.
Oh, lovely. Can I just say, first of all, KK, you are just exceptional. Thanks for organizing this event. And for anyone who's here, I can assure you that all these things that you've learned, which is definitely worth much more than you've probably paid for, when you apply it, you find that you start to see a lot of differences. And thanks for putting so much effort and on education, because this is definitely what we need, not just as school leaders, but also as a society, as a continent as well. So you're definitely impacting the world in what you do. So Sami here, hi everyone. I've known KK for a little bit, and I can tell you something. When KK mentioned my name, I didn't even realize I would have to speak, but KK knows I will be ready, and the shirts, the everything, the lights, everything was ready. That's how confident KK was that I could speak. And there's a message I want to drop there. How confident are your customers, your stakeholders, your parents, your staff in what you deliver? Because it actually made me realize that you don't always have the notice, okay, to be ready. You have to leave ready. If someone approaches your staff, approaches you, and they're asking a question about your school, or they want to find out something, if you know about the changes in the educational sector, the curriculum, are you actually ready, or are you always waiting behind? Or would you say, oh, I need 3 months to be able to for us to prepare? So just think about that. So I just want to share 2 things as from the perspective of a parent and from the perspective of someone in business. And I really like this topic because that whole analogy of lollipop and marketing is really important. So when our son was going, I'm going to spend less than 5 minutes in this before I hand over back to KK. When our son was going into reception, school here, which we call proper school here in the UK, we had to do a number of tours where we had to sign up to take to go as a parent with the child. Between my wife and I, we had a rota and take into all these different schools to see which school was best. Now, what we found was that there were 2 categories. There were some who were always speaking to the parents while the child was there about the school during the tour, but there was this specific school who was speaking to the child and also speaking to the parents. Look at what happened there. They recognized the child as a customer, as a key stakeholder, just as they identified the parents. They were taking the child to all the different classes. Say hello to Tenny. Say hello to Tenny's dad. Say hello to Tenny's mom. The moment you do not realize that the parent and the child are both your customers and you only think of the parents, you could be missing a very big opportunity. We left those schools and it was so easy. Which school did you prefer? Our child was 5 then, and he knew the school he wanted to. As a parent, you feel more comfortable knowing that your child wants to go to a specific school because you know that you don't have to force him to wake up in the morning to go to school. All I'm trying to bring out is think about your key stakeholders. We talk about marketing, we talk about a number of things, but you need to think about all these people that are involved and important in your line of business as a school. You have your parents, you have the pupils, you have the staff, you have your team, you have regulators. All stakeholders have different needs and they all need attention in different ways as well. So don't only focus on one, think of your different stakeholders because they are different customers in different ways. Now, this is many years later, now I'm coming to today, our son is going into year 2 in the same schools. They're on holiday now, as you know, and something happened this week. Our 2 kids ran upstairs. I was working from home. And Tennis, Lani, the younger one, said, Tennis swallowed the Lego. And I'm like, huh? Tenny, what happened? I put my mouth on the couch and I saw the Lego and I said, how big was the Lego? And he said it was this big. I was worried. I'm like, how did the Lego that big go through your throat? Did you feel it in your throat? He said, yes. Is your tummy aching you? He said, no. Immediately I rang emergency just to find out what we needed to do. And they said, oh, it will take a few hours. We'll come back to you. And I thought, you know what? Get in the car. I'm driving you straight to the hospital. So went straight to the hospital. My wife was at home with our daughter. Now we got to the hospital, and what we found was that the accident and the emergencies, there were two different departments. There was one for adults and there was one for children. So we went to the children ED. Do you know that every step onto that, and this is a child that didn't want to go to the hospital, because when you hear hospital, it means something is wrong, I don't want to go there. But every step while we're in that hospital, there were paw prints. It was so interesting for the child to go there because he was looking for these paw prints on the floor. He was looking for the signs. And the point is that the visuals, they were already engaging him even before he got to that hospital. So the point I'm trying to bring out is marketing does not start from when they land on your doorstep. It starts from well before they get to your doorstep. What are you doing to attract people? Now we got into this children's hospital and you find that it was all decorated in a lot of children props. He was enjoying it, forgetting the fact that we came there to solve a problem. You know, and we started to meet different staff and they were checking his temperature and they were engaging with him. It was almost like they were engaging with him and I, as the parent, didn't need to be there. Because the child was comfortable, I, as the parent, was comfortable as well. What am I trying to bring out here? The full experience matters. Don't just think about the experience in the classroom. Don't just think about the experience when they're on the playground. Think about the whole experience from the doorstep up to when they leave and even after they leave as well, because that has a part to play in your overall marketing. The other thing as well was consistency. I found that when we spoke to the pediatrician, the GP, when we spoke to all the different nurses that were involved in the process, they were all kind of speaking in the same way, not saying the same things, but engaging with the child in the same way. So it was so consistent. Is it possible that in your school, one classroom is experiencing something and another classroom is experiencing something else? Could it be possible that there is a gap between how a set of staff are experiencing something and how the other set of staff experience the school? Just think about how you harmonize this so that there's consistency across. And the last thing I want to say as well is we left that hospital eventually. They said, oh, it was fine. I was going to pass it out. It was just a small piece of Lego. There was no metal because they had tested him. And when we left, I asked him, so did you enjoy the hospital? And he was like, yes, I want to go back again. This is a child that didn't want to go to that hospital. What am I trying to say? When you do things right, it becomes so rememberable that people will want to come back there again. Hopefully the points are shared from the school tour perspective and the hospital perspective have given us a few things that we can think about to aid us in what we do to make our schools more attractive. I'm done speaking over to you, KK.
Thank you so much, Somi. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Let me try it. So because I'm reading, my screen is just, it's shaky. I don't know why it's shaky. Thank you so much, Somi. Guys, that was Somi. Like I said, he has a lovely solution. He didn't talk about his solution. Thank you very much, Somi. If you could just drop the link to your solution in the chat box, that'll be fantastic. And your contact details so people can contact you. He has an amazing, amazing solution. So it's S-A-N-M-I. Somi, Somi, yes. Don't mind me, or the way I'm calling it, it's phone. It's Somi, so you're a bad guy. Thank you. But I mean, things that he noted, right? How ready are you? And that is where your people come in. How ready are your people to talk about your school? Yes. Yes, Ziva. How ready are your people to talk about your school? How ready are you to talk about your school? There's a school I work with, I consult for them, and they said to me, oh, they want to run a promotion on Instagram. I said, no. It wasn't plenty of money they were going to spend. I said, no. Do you know why I said no? I said, your Instagram page is not ready. When I go on your page and I look at your first 6, your first 9 images, your first 9 posts, it is rubbish. Your bio is not ready. So if you go ahead and do that, you're going to kill your brand. Because personally, as a parent, if I come in and I know what fees they were charging, I said, if I come in and I talk to you based on your fees, from what I have seen, from what I perceive about your business, about your school, I'm not interested. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot literally before you get people in. So you always need to be ready, right? And that's it. Right now, we're in a digital world. You may not necessarily need to have a website, but you need to have web presence, right? What is your Thank you so much for that, Sami. Guys, so that's Sami that has dropped his details there. He's fantastic with customer service, customer experience. He's like Sami is great. He's a great person. Yeah, he's a great person, right? And so it's important that you understand all of these things. Where are they? How is the place, right? What is that aura that you're projecting? And then to go quickly to Ziba's question. Yes, because of insecurity, people are taking their logos of the bus, their names of the bus, but some schools I've seen still have their logo, very tiny logo on the bus, and then they have their email address. It's a generic email address. It's no longer tied to a website like something at nollypreparatoryschool.com. No, people have taken that out. It's now just a regular Gmail or a Yahoo Mail because of security. They also put a phone number there. But again, even inside the bus, how are the children behaving? When you drop off children in houses, people are watching from windows. How are they seeing you do it? I had somebody who registered in our school. They brought their baby to our school. Why? They said they saw a baby. They were worrying about registering their child. He was about a year, 2 months, but they called him their baby. They were worried about registering that baby. But guess what happened? They came in, they saw our bus when we dropped off a child. And they said the way the bus attendant carried that bus the child out of the bus and handed them over to the nanny, that for them, they were sold. They were like, if in the bus with all these children, this person can do this, you know what? We'll register here. So beyond just coming to your school, your communicators out there, because that's what they are, your communicators, your branding elements, right? Your school elements are out there in the universe of your catchment areas. How are they communicating who you are as a school? Part of all of that is marketing. And if you don't see that, then it means that the signals that are going out there are wrong. Another thing that we forget is our school books. And I always say this in my sessions. Your school books, they themselves are a marketing tool. If your books are scattered, torn, tattered, you're demarketing yourself. Don't assume that it's because we're in, don't do that. Your books need to absolutely work. Your books need to tell a story of care. They need to tell a story that, you know what, we are checking each child. If you have to use sellotape to tape the edges, do that. If you have to send a message to the parents to say, oh, your child didn't bring back their book, your child's notes are torn, you know, part of us here is discipline, send it. It is sending out a message that is sublime, all right, to your parent community. It shows that you do care about their children, all right? So all of these are marketing tools. I need to end this segment soon. I've dropped the slides in the chat box. I've also drop the flyer for the school administration bootcamp. It's a hybrid section, right? So there is physical in Lagos, Nigeria, and then there's the hybrid, which is online, right? So you have that in there. It's 2 days, 2 days for hybrid, 2 days for 1 day for physical, and then we do a hybrid segment, and then we have another day for online, for the online segment, all right? So it's all in there. But most importantly, when we are more intentional about the things that we do and why we do the things that we do, communicate that to all of our stakeholders. We run a tighter ship, we run a stronger system, and we have a stronger brand. Thank you all so much. Any other questions? Good, all right. So thank you all so much. I'm going to unmute you guys now because I'm done. And if you want to say something, yes, you can go ahead now and say something. All right, thank you. And I thank you so much, Sami, for popping in and just giving us those nuggets as always. Okay, does anybody have something to say? Do you want to raise your hand? Oh, you people are thinking. I'm getting you guys thinking.
Well done for a job done. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Linda. Okay, so you guys learned. You people are so quiet. I'm wondering,
we learned a lot.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. And we've gone into the lot before. Can't find anything there yet. So
where the chat?
Yes, in the chat.
Oh, okay. It's in there, but I mean, you just being here means that you do have access to the meeting materials. They will be emailed, so you have nothing to worry about. You will get all of the meeting materials once we're done. We're going to work with Zoom to try and get the recording because this is Zoom event. It's a slightly different platform than your regular Zoom, but it is still Zoom. But the meeting events, to be honest, the meeting slides are in there. I'm just going to share it once again. Right, it's in the chat. It's called SROC Marketing PDF. So I've sent that. Thank you all so much. I've posted my Instagram handle as well. For those of you who don't know me, I've just uploaded the session again. the PDF so you guys can grab that. All right, so let me let you all go and get ready for your next session. Please engage. All right. Thank you all so much. Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye.